Mr. J Vaval. What's going on, blood? What up? What up? What up? What up? You cold?
It's cold, bro.
What happened to that boy?
That thing cold, boy. It's a brick outside. I said, hold on.
What? Nah, I love it, man. It feels really, really good. You know, it's a little colder up here than it is down there.
I know it's like London in Orlando. It's crazy. Well,
I said London.
It's dark and gloomy, guys. Dark and gloomy. Well, let's welcome everyone to another episode of Giant Fundamentals, the podcast dedicated to empowering men by tackling the vital issues of mental health. With that being said, bro, how's your mind? How's your body? How's your heart? What are you grateful for?
Man, I am just grateful for life. I'm someone that loves to reflect, so I'm always thinking about the past in terms of how far I've come and what I've been able to build. And I feel like for me, that's very important for me to do continuously because, you know, as a man, you want to provide, you want to give your family the best, you want to live the best life possible. So there are times where you feel like, man, I haven't done enough. Why am I here in this position right now? Maybe if I would have done X, Y, and Z, I could have been further along. But for me, I've learned to look at the past from a perspective of, man, I've come a long way. Even just in the last 2 years. Just in the last 2 years, so much has happened. So much has changed. So much growth. So much healing. So I'm grateful for that. Grateful that honestly I'm going back to work because you know there's a lot of people that don't have work.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that don't have work, so I'm thankful that I'm able to have multiple sources of income where I could work at my job as the VP at the practice there and then have my own clients, building up our brand, our business on the side. Like it's those type of things I'm just like really trying to sit in more because you know at times you're like, oh man, I gotta go to work, but it's like, yeah, some people don't have work, and this time last year I wasn't in this financial situation that I'm in now, which is a much better one. So I'm thankful for that. It's something that I leave on my desktop, my screensaver. It says, "Don't forget how badly you once wanted what you have now." So I leave it there for days. I'm like, oh my God, I got to do this. I got to do that. It's like, nope. You can't complain about the thing that you actually wanted. And this is what I wanted this whole time. So yeah, I'm thankful for that.
And how's your body? How's your mind? How's your heart?
My body, my hamstring is getting better. A lot better, man. It's challenging. You know, when I was in a groove, exercise, I was doing my thing, eating right, man. Once the injury hit, boom, it's like, I just let go of the rope. So it's just a matter of getting back on it. But I'm definitely thankful that I'm healing up because I'm like, yo, I ain't gonna lie. I'm just thinking, I'm like, yo, I'm 39. And I'm like, yo, 5 years from now, my body's going to be different. I got to make sure that I'm okay. Like, I'm staying active, I'm stretching, I'm doing all these different, which I am. Honestly, I do stretch and do all those things, but just got to stay consistent and working out because I'm like, yeah, it's that age.
For sure.
Well, what about yourself?
Mind, body, heart, everything's good. My mind is clear. My body feels good. I feel like I'm recovering from my hamstring injury, so I'm getting closer and closer to 100%. And my heart is full, and it's funny that your gratitude was talking about reflection and how far you've come. I've also been thinking about the same thing about like how now in this season of my life, I've changed so much, but I don't really like to use the word change, but I've evolved to be a better me. And one of the reasons why is our partnership, right? I think a lot of times is minorities and us being entrepreneurs, we think we have to do everything. We think we have to be the CEO, the VP, all these different parts of a business. But when you partner with the right people, and you allow yourself to be the best version of yourself, like I do what I do well and you do what you do well, and because we both do that for each other, our business is able to move in the right direction. And that took time, right? That's one marriage I definitely appreciate that is still going, because it you never know where it's going to end up. And sometimes you could have that like subtle jealousy, like, oh, why is I don't want John to lead me. Why is he leading me? You know, or you could feel like, oh, Jerry's not doing enough. I'm the one holding the business together. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
but we don't allow that to really come into our conversations. We're just like, yo, what is needed now in the season of our lives from each other personally and business wise. And I'm grateful for that. Definitely grateful for that.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. Do you have a mental health music for us, an Eminem?
Um, it's dang. I guess it's an older song now. I forgot when it came out exactly, but it's
Mm-hmm.
with Jay Z and Nas. Well, it's really DJ Khaled, but he got Jay Z and Nas on there. The song called "Sorry Not Sorry."
Yeah, yeah.
What happened? What happened?
I remember it, but I'm like, dang, it feels so long ago, but I'm pretty sure it came out like 2019 or something like
Yeah, I think it
that.
came around like 20. Yeah, you're right. It came around like 2019, 2020 time. But it's crazy because we're in 2025. That's why I'm like,
I know, but we digest so much information and music so quickly now.
bruh, you're right. It's like a new
It-
song can't stay new long anymore now. It's like
exactly.
it has to be really, 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 really good. Like a hit. Like a hit
Uh-huh.
has to be like three times of what a hit was back in the early 2000s, bro.
Exactly. And then I don't know if you heard of Boss Man D-Lo. You probably heard of his music, but he said he only records songs that are a minute 30 seconds. He said, because I realized that people only want to hear one verse and
It's
one hook.
true. It's true, dog. It's true. The attention spans of people right now these days, they don't want to hear these long 5 minute songs that we used to have back in the day,
With a
with the
bridge.
with the bridge, and then the beat still playing, and
Breakdown.
it break down all this. Nah, man,
Yeah,
niggas
well,
ain't
he
on that
said
no
they
more,
said
kid.
because they was like, "Yo, how is this man so successful so quick?" And it's like he's a TikTok musician, like minute 30 seconds,
Mm,
catchy hook. The lyrics don't need to always make sense. And he
it's
said
true.
after they hear the chorus the first time, a person knows whether or not they like the song.
It's true.
So
It's true. It's true. Yeah, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. People just trying to catch a vibe, and it don't have to be long. It's just like real quick. Yeah,
exactly.
it's so true. So the lyrics that I have is from Nas. He says, "Sorry, not sorry. Don't mind me. I'm living the dream, living the dream. Yeah, came from nothing. Whoever thought that we would be living a dream." Okay. Then he says, hear ye. Only kings stand near me. Silicon Valley money mixed with Henry. That's a Fendi. Half a century almost. Slice the green like a lawnmower till we on till we all are on, never fall off. Hear a boss talk. You don't hear me? That's your loss. Winner in life, fuck a coin toss.
Mm. Who's lyric? That was Nas.
Yeah, that was Nas.
That is so deep. Yeah. Break that down for me, because it's like he said so much. Like yeah. You might not be able to catch everything.
No, that's why always love Nas, because I like when I can't catch everything. I like when I have to listen to it over and over again. But just to sum it up, is like what I'm talking about right now in terms of reflecting. He's reflecting
Hmm.
back on where he came from to where he is now,
Hmm.
and he's like, "Yo, I built this life." Like there's pretty much when he says, "Till we all are on, never fall off." Hear a boss talk. You don't hear me? That's your loss. Winner in life, fuck a coin toss. It's like there's no luck here. Like I'm a
Hmm.
winner. I made this happen, and I love those type of. I love when rappers speak with that type of bravado, because that energy and that spirit is essential to getting to wherever you need to get to in life.
Hmm.
And to be able to just look back and say, I did this, I think that's very important for anybody's journey. Like I think a lot of times we look back and we look back at the things that we could have done, or we look back at how we could have done things differently.
Yeah.
but we're not necessarily looking at like the building blocks that we've created to get to where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's very funny that like you say it in that way, because I saw something on Instagram where they were like, get an empty jar and drop in that jar every good thing that happens for the next month or for the next year.
I did see
And
that. It was the next year. You said that to
yeah,
me.
next year, right. And it's like, man, it's so simple, but I feel like if we were to do that more often, then we wouldn't have that level of regret of thinking
Yes,
about how
bro.
decisions change, because now we're able to see the wins from the little post-its to be like, okay, wow, like I won here, I won here, I won, and then you can connect the dots and see where it's taking you, and you have more appreciation and gratitude for you where
Oh,
you've
for
headed.
sure. Absolutely.
You know, so it's like having, and I always admire people who have that wherewithal, that awareness to be like, yo, I don't care. I'm gonna just get what I gotta get, what I
Yeah.
deserve. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna attack it. And I think that kind of leads into our main topic today, whereas, we wanted to break down the difference between personality and identity, and the effects of trauma and how they affect both of them. But if you can basically tell us what is the difference between personality and identity, because I feel like it's something that it sounds like it shouldn't be the same, but I think a lot of people confuse it as the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely majority of us think that personality and identity are the same thing, and they're not. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason why this topic came about just in general is because a session that I was having with one of my male clients,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much he feels as if what he does
Mm-hmm.
is exactly who he is, or what he doesn't do is who he's not.
Mm-hmm.
And to elaborate more on that, pretty much he feels as if he's providing for his family, then that is something that shows not just his identity but his personality as a person. Like he is
Mm-hmm.
he is someone who has integrity,
Mm-hmm.
or he is someone that is reliable. But the thing that he was doing that is very dangerous, that I realize that a lot of men do,
Mm-hmm.
is it's too much of a narrow view of what a provider is.
Okay.
So, for example, if you say, "All right, your kids can't go on a trip or something like that because you don't have enough money to get them to go on a trip,"
Right.
okay, so that has to do with providing.
Mm-hmm.
But this man specifically, felt as if, man, if I can't do that, then that's a strike against me as a person, and that means I'm a low life. Like,
Oh.
I'm not a good father, or even though that's still a role, it just plays a role into who he is as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So what I try to do with him is show him, like, no, like, we have to broaden what being a provider is.
Okay.
Okay, we have to broaden that. So you're not able to provide financially the way that you want to provide, but that's just in this season. Not only that, providing is such a broad thing. Providing is not just financial, and that's the thing. As men, that's all we're really worried about, is providing financial. But are you providing emotionally?
Mm-hmm.
Are you providing spiritually? Are you providing healthy beliefs to your children that are going to be able to help them move the needle for your last name?
Yeah.
So when I said that, then he's like, "Oh, wow." Right? He's like, "Oh, I never thought about those things as being providers, being a provider." I'm like, "Yeah, exactly."
Mm-hmm.
But the thing, what he was doing is like, he's just taking a small section of providing,
Mm-hmm.
completely making that his identity, and it's impacting how he's feeling as a person. But I'm like, bro, your personality, you are dependable. You are the light of the party when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
You are very helpful. like all of those things, that's a part of your personality as a person. But
Mm-hmm.
you're just saying, oh, because I can't provide this, then my personality is in the shits pretty much. Like I'm just a low life of a person.
That's kind of like what we call getting your wires crossed, because when I did a just a simple Google search, right? It says personality focuses on internal traits, behavioral patterns. Like you might have a natural outgoing personality, right?
Right.
And then identity is how a person sees themselves and is
Yeah.
perceived by others, shaped by
Yeah.
culture, social groups, values, like you talked
Yeah.
about, and roles. So very simply, like my identity, I might identify as a musician
Yeah.
because I actively play music and I feel like it's part of my self image,
You're right.
right?
Yeah.
So go ahead. Did you have something you wanted to say
Yeah.
about those two? Go ahead.
Yeah. And I was going to add on to that is that that's great that you mentioned that, because if you're just thinking about a musician, uh, let's just stay with a musician.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that you do.
Right.
That's a talent of yours.
Mm-hmm.
That is a part of your identity. But
Mm.
a musician can be an extrovert, can be an ambivert, can be an introvert. That's the personality,
Okay.
right? So what we end up doing, we say like, oh, well, it's so, like you said, the wires cross. It's so delicate because let's say this musician is a bass player
Mm-hmm.
and then something happens to his fingers where he can no longer play the bass again. That's a major part of your identity that's being completely stripped away because you can no longer play the bass anymore. So what that can do is that's going to impact you emotionally, but it doesn't
Okay.
have to impact your personality. It's going to impact you emotionally because you're going to grieve that life. You're going to feel depressed. You're going to get triggered when you see, people playing music. You probably get triggered when you see the way people feel when they hear a bass player, a drum player. You're going to realize that, man, I can no longer give people that feeling anymore. Like, you're going to go through those motions. But you as a person, your
Mm-hmm.
personality, what makes you you, like your values, your beliefs, those things are mixed up in your personality.
So let me ask you, that musician that lost his fingers and can't play the bass, if he has a resilient personality and he wants to reshape his identity, can he learn a different instrument? Like, can he learn how to play the saxophone, right? Where that reshapes his identity. You get what I'm
Yeah,
going?
yeah,
Where
I get what you.
now he feel like he can still be a musician. He just got to play a different instrument. I feel
Well,
like
here's
it's
the
hard for
thing.
people to do that in life.
No, absolutely, it's really hard because we over-identify with what we do. We
Mm,
over-identify with our talents. And then, yeah, he can learn another instrument. That's very possible. But to me, that's just really too simple. It's like you're still going to
ah,
be a musician, right?
right.
But let's say he's in a position where he can never play any other instrument ever again.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying? So now it's
yeah.
like the thing about it is no one, and this is the tricky thing, no one can actually take away from you be a musician. He will always be a musician,
Right.
right? Because it's a part of who he is. But in terms of externally displaying that, it would have to morph into something different. So now let's say he becomes a music teacher, right? So now it may change. And that's a very challenging thing for a lot of people, man. Like when you have an identity shift,
Mm-hmm.
it is everything. For example, one of the persons that come to my mind is The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize The Rock went through so many different phases of his life and his career.
Yep.
I didn't like when you look back and he started off with the football,
Yep.
didn't make it to where he wanted to make it to, didn't make it to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm just thinking he just went to wrestling. But he tried stand up comedy too.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? He did stand up comedy. Then he went to wrestling slash acting, really. But then
Right.
he upped his game up with the acting. and now he's become a business mogul. I'm like, man, this guy has shifted his identity so many different times.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's just a lot of emotional intelligence when you're able to shift identity. Because here's the thing, I see you're about to say something. I wanted to add this before you spoke.
No, yeah.
We can get so married to our identity because our identities keep us feeling safe. Because that's something like, oh, I'm a musician. I've been doing that since I was a kid. I'm a hooper. I've been playing basketball since I was a kid. Like, we say all these different things because there is an emotional attachment that we have to that identity. So now when that identity no longer serves us, man, it's a whole grieving process, a depressive process that you have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
But to what you said earlier, is like if someone has enough resilience,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to make it clear, just because you're resilient doesn't mean you're not going to go through the grieving and the depressive process,
Right.
right? You still have to go through that grieving process. So, um, if you're resilient enough, if you have the right people around you, you're going to be able to transition. And this is why when we talk about the difference between personality and identity, for me, this is why personality is important. Because, well, identity is important too, don't get me wrong, but I want to sit on personality more.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why: because once you know who you are, once you know, hey, I'm a I'm an introvert, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
an extrovert, you're going to be able to position yourself in a way in life that's going to be authentic to yourself. So regardless if your identity shifts or not, regardless
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the same situation or not, regardless if you're in the same relationship or not, you're going to be able to get through. Because I feel like personality has more to do with accepting of your true authentic self, versus
Mm-hmm.
identity could be, you could shift, it could change in different phases of your life.
So let me ask you about that, because identity is part of your self-image. So as men, when you talked about, the way we look at provision and how we're down on ourselves if we don't provide a certain way, does that also have to deal with self-worth?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
so how do we? I think that's the part that sometimes can be very hard for us to shift
Yeah,
that identity because of how low our self-worth is.
for sure. For
Mm-hmm.
sure. Absolutely. Because the thing about it is, as men,
Mm-hmm.
we naturally feel revered, admired, and respected when we are providing something and it is being acknowledged that, man, you're providing this, and without you, nothing could be done, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we feel good about ourselves. But it all starts from when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we were kids, everything had to be, oh, clean your room this or do that. And based off of how your parents responded to you,
Mm-hmm.
will all determine how you felt about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because now there's a messaging that says, well, if I am going to be loved and accepted by my parents, I have to do my best. I have to always perform well. So that's automatically a belief, a
Mm-hmm.
subconscious message. So that belief stems into your identity. So now as you get older and you see this how society is, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. He was talking about, high value man and all these different things in terms of like what a man should provide. And then, that high value man he just went everywhere. But I
Right.
think people are really missing the root of what he's saying. It's like, if you're a man and you can't provide at the highest clip,
Mm-hmm.
then you're really not about nothing. That's how a lot of men internalize it, because at the end of the day, that's how we think and feel anyway.
Right.
I don't think that's what he was intentionally trying to do,
Mm-hmm.
but that he's just ringing the message that most men feel.
Right. So when you talked about personality, right, one description I saw was your personality is a dynamic system of defenses, adaptations, and
Mm.
individual quirks that provides the you with a sense of stability
Yeah.
and favorable ratio of rewards versus pain in your environments, relationships, and social world, right?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, how do you help someone? For example, I might say, man, I'm an anxious person, and I might take that as that's my personality. But it's like, am I really an anxious person, or do I have anxiety based on what I experienced in my life?
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. I think this is just semantics at that point.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it just yeah, you are an anxious person based off of the experiences that you've had that caused you to be anxious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So everyone experiences anxiety. Some people experience it more than others based off of where they grew up, based off of parenting, whether you were abused, neglected, so on and so forth, whatever, right? So, yeah, you are an anxious person, but the question is, do you want to remain an anxious person?
Okay, because maybe that's what we feel like. Because I call myself that and I accept it, I can't change it.
No, I think it's very important to accept it. That's a part of the change.
Oh,
See,
okay.
and that's and see, and this is you see what you just said right now. That's perfect because this is exactly what we do as men.
Mhm.
We don't want to acknowledge that we're anxious. We don't want to acknowledge that we're afraid. We don't want to acknowledge that we're depressed. We don't want to acknowledge those things because for us, it's a weak move to do that.
Yes.
But all we're doing is just suppressing it and repressing it, and it just comes out in a different type of way.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a part of shadow work. Part of shadow work is saying like, yo, this is a side of me that I do not accept. I don't like this side of me.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is it's here
Mm-hmm.
and I have to accept that. Once you do that, the floodgates open. For example, I recently had a client uh, struggling with porn addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I just when I told him, I said, bro, look, let's not lie about it. You love watching it. You love it's okay. It's okay. You
Mm-hmm.
love watching it. That's fine.
I
He got very uncomfortable.
I
He
feel
got
for him because Pornhub just got left Florida, so he don't got much options. No, that legislation just passed.
yeah, legislature just passed. So I just saw that the other day too. Literally like 2 days ago, I saw the article on that. But I tried to express it. I'm like, yo, you gotta just it's okay. Like you like watching it. And he was like, he's getting into like church and Bible and stuff like that. So when
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that, it's like, yo, what the heck you saying, right? I can see it on his face, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
know it sounds strange, but just slow down, bro. Just slow down, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we don't want to lie
Mm.
because what we're doing is we're attaching shame to what we're doing, which is going to make us hide it, which is going to make us not deal with it in a healthy way.
Wow. Okay.
We just have to say, hey, bro, I love it. I do love watching it. Now, once we admit that, the next step is why do I love it so much? So you can't get to solving any type of addiction or anything like that if you don't accept that, man, this fuels me, this makes me feel good. And then you were like, yeah, it makes me feel good, but I don't want to keep doing it. Why do I keep doing it? So then when we get to the why, then it's like, oh, we start unpeeling back the layers. Come to find out, the reason why he does it, which was a lot of us do, is just that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
You get that dopamine hit when you feel tired, when you feel bored, when you feel stressed, when you feel anxious, when you feel overwhelmed. You want a dopamine high.
Right.
So seeing the fact that a lot of us, since we were boys, we were watching porn, it's like our nervous system automatically jumps to, oh shoot, let me go watch this to make me feel better because I'm stressed out.
Right.
So once I did that and we started getting into the shadow work, he was like, the next week, he was like, yo, I didn't watch porn one time this week. And it's because every time I wanted to watch it, I said, yo, I do want to watch this. And I know it will make me feel good. But I know but he's like asking questions like, okay, so what's going on in my environment right now? Like, why am I
Mm-hmm.
feeling this way? Okay, because I'm bored. all right, let me go do something fun. Let me go hang out with my friend. Like, so now it's like he's finding the solutions.
Right.
And I tell him like, yo, bro, even if you fall, it's okay. Like, you've been doing this for how many years? Like, you're not going to just jump up and just never do it again. Honestly, bro, I forgot how we got to this topic. I forgot how we got here. It was a point I was trying to make. I just went off
Yeah.
with that story.
No, for real, because it's important that you're breaking it down that way, because even in that example, someone who knows he has that addiction might call him a pervert. And now he might identify as a pervert.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's not even that it shouldn't even go that far. Right?
Yeah.
If you do the right mental work, you're able to shift your identity. I think the part we were trying to see is like there's different parts of your personality that you can accept and move off from or change,
Yeah.
right? When we're talking about being an anxious person, or like
Yeah.
sometimes, oh, I'm just such an extrovert. I hear that from people and I'm like, um, I don't know if you're an extrovert. Like, yeah, that's part of your personality, but I don't like when people just label themselves. It
Yeah.
bothers me because it's like, okay, but why are you an extrovert? Why do you
Yeah.
feel like you're extroverted? Do you suffer from social anxiety? Do crowds make you nervous? Do you like to isolate?
You mean
You
introvert?
introvert. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an extrovert. But an
Mm-hmm.
introvert, things of that nature. So that's why I wanted to kind of ask you is like, can you change those parts of your personality? Like, can you upgrade the software, so to speak?
Yeah, you can, but I'm very slow to say do that because I feel like when people are always trying to change themselves, especially like
Mm,
not identity, but personality.
I got you.
When you try to change your personality, I feel like that's self-hatred. You're not accepting yourself for who you really are.
So that's what you said earlier about when you understand your personality, you really understand who you are.
Right,
Got you.
right, right.
Okay, that
Because
makes
here's the
sense.
thing for me, growing up, and I think a lot of boys, especially where we grew up at, a lot of us did it where we masked,
Yeah.
where we presented in a certain type of way, but internally, that's not how we truly felt.
Yes.
Right? We probably presented with bravado, but inside we were just very scared and cowering as a little boy.
We do
Right?
all
Or
the time with
yeah,
girls. Like, oh, did you hit? Did you win it? He's like, yeah,
yeah,
man, I did that. And and
yeah,
all that. And then
yeah.
this is like, nah, I just got her number. You know what I mean? But we want to tell the boys like, yeah, we went all the way to fourth
Yeah,
base. We hit two
yeah,
home runs. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Barry Bonds in that book.
yeah, yeah. The jawless, right? So that's what we
Yeah.
do. We mask, right? And the thing about masking is you're not accepting who you truly are and how you truly feel. You're
Mm,
not you're not accepting your real life experience.
right.
You're trying to make it into something that will be accepted by other people.
Mm,
So I feel like when it comes to trying to change yourself, your personality, I feel like that's dangerous because you are who you are. Like, yeah, you can be a little bit more outgoing. Like, you know me, I'm not outgoing like that. I'm not gonna go into a room and just start being the life of the party. Only reason you're gonna know I'm in the room because I'm the biggest person in the room.
right.
That's the only reason you're gonna know I'm there. But I'm not gonna be talking and doing all these other different things. But what I learned about myself is that I'm gonna find one person in the room, I'm gonna start connecting with them, and then we're gonna develop a deep relationship over time. Because
Mm,
I recognize it about myself. My personality, the way that I move is I'm a deep, not wide person.
mm.
Right? There's some people that they're just going to room and then just life
And
of the
then
party.
vanish.
Everybody know them.
Yeah.
There's other people like me. I'm just like, all right, I'll go to a conference. I meet this person. I meet two or three people, and I'm the one that's gonna nurture that relationship. I'm gonna stay up with them.
Right.
But then eventually, over a lifespan, I end up becoming a wide person.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wide and deep because I start off deep,
Right.
and then I just build over time. But it took me years to really understand that about myself, and not just understand, but accept that about myself.
Mm,
Right? When I accepted that about myself and I started to see the power in that, then I was like, okay. And I think people, they try to change who they are because of comparison. You think that somebody else, the way that they're doing things, the results that they're getting is based off of who they are as a person. So let me be like them and then I'll get the same results. But no,
Yeah.
it's literally like it's because that person is comfortable in their skin
Yeah.
and they're just moving according to what works for them. And you just have to be able to do the same.
Yeah, I think that's the tough part in guru culture, right? On social
Yeah.
media, where
Very, yep.
you
Mm-hmm.
always have a coach who's telling you, you got to do this, you got to eat egg whites for 12 days straight, and then you'll get, that's what I did, and this is, and it's like, yo, that's that person's success. There's certain principles you could take away from it,
For
but
sure.
you have to do it your way.
For sure.
It's Frank Sinatra. I did it my way.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know?
But I do think, like we spoke about The Rock, your identity you can change your identity. That's
Yes.
something that you can change every day, all day. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not an issue at all. You can definitely change it. But I do think you have to. Me, I'm always going to go on the why.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to shift your identity?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Like, why do you want to do it? Is it based off of what do you believe you're going to receive from people?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you shifting your identity based off of you wanting to take the next step up in your life?
That's a good question.
Why are you shifting it? So
Man, with that being said, two things I got out of it was, don't lie to yourself, accept yourself, and you can change your identity anytime you want, not just on Halloween. With that being said, bro, I love you. I appreciate you.
I love you too, bro.
Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, the man that says he can and the man that says he can't are both right. Which one are you?
Street cred was a major priority, and no respect for any authority. If you love school, you were in the minority. Can't be yourself, only way was conformity. In the dark, I prayed.